Library of Champions. And just, I'll draw it out for a second here over here. Essentially what we are, we're think of it as a mentoring organization, kind of for the 21st century. And if you think of all kids in America, according to some bell curve, however you want to define this curve, if you think of kids that are in dire need of all sorts of help, perhaps from the lowest socioeconomic brackets, think of them as in this part of the curve. And think of kids that have all the benefits of America today in this part. The Library of Champions focuses on mentoring these kids in here, kind of this forgotten class. In fact, I think there's something in the air, because I remember when I first got in here, I was sitting next to Dario and Luke, and we were all involved in education in some sort of way. So it seems like there's something in the air where everyone has their finger in the pot a little bit with education. So you're in the audience, and you are essentially interning, I guess. You're looking at a few different potential internship opportunities, and kind of an informational interview sort of style. And this is, you've already been through a couple rounds, you already know a lot about the company, and you're interested in learning about who I am and why Library of Champions, how it got founded. Okay? What's your skepticism? You've got a lot of different opportunities. You've got a lot of different internships you could possibly do. Why this one? And yeah, and I think we can get going. One last thing. We're building what I believe to be the next city year, the next Teach for America. So if any light bulbs go off in your head and you think of something, grab me at the end of class and please tell me something. Give me your email or phone number. Okay. So I'll start. Sir Ken Robinson tells a story of a little girl that he was visiting in England, a kindergarten classroom. And everyone in the classroom was drawing what they wanted to be when they grew up. Of course, some girls were drawing things like ponies. Some girls were drawing things like ambulance drivers. Other people were drawing policemen. He went to the back of the room where this little girl was sitting. She was drawing, and he really couldn't figure out what it is that she was drawing. And he says, "Little girl, what is it that you're drawing there?" And she says, "God." And he goes, "But no one knows what God looks like." And she says, "They will in a minute." And that's the sort of unbridled enthusiasm that millions of kids in America have today. I grew up in inner city Detroit. I was one of those kids that had this enthusiasm. My mother was a German villager who emigrated here. My father was African American. Neither one even graduated high school. Do we have any first generation college students here? Okay. So, but they gave me everything that they thought they could. They were a champion for my education. I ended up going to the University of North Carolina. I didn't really find out what passions I had until deep into my education there. I ended up dropping out. Went to Los Angeles and helped start up a music video company. Still, something was missing there, so I eventually left that as well, and I started selling books for 7 years, door to door. Has anyone seen these before? No one? Who has? Okay. These are books that help parents help kids with homework. So if math is different or if parents can't remember English rules, these books are kind of like cheat sheets for parents. And I sold in these little towns like Mingo Junction, Ohio, and Elmira, Wisconsin, these little hamlets. And I realized that there were hundreds, even thousands of kids out there just like me who had passions in life but really couldn't figure out how to connect the dots to get to where they wanted to be. They had no champions. And I thought about that for a long time and decided it was time for me to graduate college. So I went back to school to Columbia University. At Columbia, I was student body president. And we would get funding requests from different student organizations coming in. And I remember one in particular from the Diabetes Foundation there. And they were asking for funds to do a low glycemic hot dog bun sale to promote diabetes awareness. We didn't have any money to give them. They didn't have enough manpower anyway to do it. So we had to deny that. But that's when I thought, that's when the idea came. Why not take these thousands of kids in America, these millions of kids, Mentor.org says there's 17 million kids in need of mentors today. Why not take these kids who have passions in life and hook them up with these student organizations on college campuses that are already doing wonderful, amazing things? So the idea is essentially, if we have kids in Florida who are interested in global warming, and a kid in California who's interested in clean fuel, and a kid in Alaska who's interested in hybrid cars, why not hook all of them together over the internet with perhaps the Harvard Climate Society? And what then the Harvard Climate Society can do is apply to us for grants where we can really accelerate their mission, kind of like Kiva, micro-grant style. Our goal in life is to make sure that kids, hundreds of thousands of them in the next few years, can hit their passions and hit their goals in life. A Gallup poll recently was released, And it said that 86% of kids today believe that there's a Bill Gates in their generation. 60% of those kids think that they know that person. 25% of those kids think that that next Bill Gates is them. Who's their champion? Thanks.